Hello and welcome. I have in front of me the November Spellbinders Club Kits. I don't get everything, but I will show you what I will be crafting with this month. So here we have the embossing folder of the month, and look at that lovely design. It's sort of a floral pattern, but it's a little bit abstract. It's just got that lovely kind of fan shape that's turned around in various orientations, which means that this is a lovely design that I feel like you can use. Really, there's no right side up, so you can use it in whatever orientation you want. And if you're not familiar with the Spellbinders embossing folder of the month club, these folders are large. They are 8.5 tall by 5.5 wide. So you can basically emboss half of a US letter size sheet of paper. So you can see here. And if you like to make small USA 2 size cards like I do, you can actually, especially on a folder like this where it doesn't matter which way it's oriented, or at least it can be oriented. It's not exactly kind of symmetrical both ways. The pattern will look a little bit different, but I think you can use it in both directions. But you can actually, maybe it is the same. Yeah. Or very nearly so. Wow, that's awesome. I think it looks the same both ways. But you can get two USA 2 size panels. So really awesome. And I did pick up the universal plate system mostly so that and plate system's really nice, especially if you do have the smaller Platinum 6 or a more standard size die cutting machine, because usually your cutting plate is about that length. So it doesn't quite extend the full length. So the universal plate system is narrow in the sense that it can fit through a 6-inch opening, but it's long. So it can accommodate these larger or longer embossing folders. So it's great if you have a Platinum 6 and not a large platinum or a large platform die cutting machine. But I just find that with their plate combination, because they do spell out, exactly which plates, which mats you want to use for various things, whether it's to cut, emboss with a die, or emboss with your standard embossing folder versus a 3D embossing folder. And then if you look it up, I think on their website, they even include the plate combinations for other brand folders as well. But you get so many different sort of shims and different thicknesses of plates that I feel like it's easier to get the perfect combination. And it's nice to have that, even though I do have a large platinum machine, because I feel like I get the perfect emboss every time now, whereas, especially with the 3D embossing folders, I always had to kind of guess and shim things with some extra layers of cardstock, and now everything just happens with the first pass beautifully. So then I also have the clear stamp and die of the month. You can get just the stamp by itself, or get it with the coordinating dies. So both options are available if you want to subscribe. There's often, not always, but I think often the after the subscription period is over, you can buy these just one off, but then the price goes up. The nice thing about being a subscriber to any of the clubs is that you can cancel at any time. So it's It's very flexible in that way. There isn't a minimum number of months that you need to stay subscribed for, and you can basically turn your subscription on and off whenever you'd like. And then you can rest assured that if you are actively subscribed, then that it will come to you. And so you don't have to take that gamble as to whether it's going to be available open stock afterwards. And you get that nice subscriber club discount as well, and all of the other perks that come with being a subscriber. So the clear stamp and die of the month, really, really lovely. Lots of floral sprays and really nice open areas, but also very solid. So I feel like this would be a good one to emboss with, heat embossing. And because you do have some of those solid, nice solid areas, which I always feel like are make a really nice impact whenever you heat emboss, because you see more of it. I feel like fine detail might not come through quite as well whenever I heat emboss, and so when I see stamps like these, I feel like they would be perfect to do some heat embossing with. But then you also have some nice open areas that would make this kind of easy to color in too. So really lovely. Then the sentiments are great. I love that they are very, very general purpose. Happy birthday. Love having that. It's a very sort of a casual handwriting cursive font. And then we have sending love, hello friend, for you, and thank you. So really, really lovely. And with the coordinating dies, you do get the dies that will cut out the sentiments too. So that's really nice option. It's not just the dies that will cut you out the images, but you get the sentiments along with that. Next, we have the small die of the month, and this one looks like a lot of fun. I feel like I'm going to really enjoy. I always enjoy all of them, but this one just seems right up my alley. So it looks, I haven't used it yet, but it looks like you get this large plate here where you can cut out this sort of floral spray from one color. And then it looks like we have individual dies that you can then layer and fill in some of these open areas, like this large flower that looks to be the same shape there. But you could use that by itself. I think that would be really lovely because it does have some deboss detailing. Or you can kind of layer it up with some of these additional dies here. So there's one die that gives you that sort of solid border, and that's why it was helpful to show this one first, because you can see that the designs kind of mimic each other. So you see how there's like those little lines for the petal detail? You have those in deboss lines in die form there. That solid black outline, you could achieve that in die cut form with this die. And this looks like an outline with a sort of a solid center there. But that center looks like you can layer up this piece and that piece as well. So you can do a lot of layering with this and create just different looks, because you have all of these, you have the 3 different dies that you can use in combination with each other and choose to mix and match, between the 3 which you want to use, because maybe this is going to give you one color, so that maybe you only want to add this on top of that, or you just want to add an outline in a different color on top of that, or combine and stack all of them together, or you just want to use this by itself. So up to you, right? Really, really nice. And we get a second size flower, but with the same 3 die combination of that more solid border, and then the thinner border all the way around, and that's to overlay this spot here. Then there's some leaves, and you can kind of see some open areas where there are leaves, and then you have this which I think is also a flower as well, and then there's a that top portion you can layer on top there, and then that I'm presuming can layer on top. So really fun, kind of a layering die set, and you can kind of just build up your floral here. You even have, let's see, it's this detailing here. You have that in die form here. And then you have this die plate that will cut you all the individual little berries, I guess, that you can overlay into that section. So that's really fun. It's going to be really cool to work with that. So that's the small die of the month. And then we have the APG die of the month, which, look at this. This is amazing. So you can create a box card with this in the same way that many of the APG dies have been designed. And this one's pretty cool. You can do create sort of an alarm clock. So here, if you look at this die plate here, there's actually numbers, and it's the numbers on the clock face. So look how cool that is. And there's a lot of, let me just slide this out, because there are lots of layers that you can mat and layer on top of each other. So we have this outer die here, and that does have the tabs that will hook into the sides if you were creating sort of that more 3D box style of card. You have this lovely die here, which cuts the design into your card. It does not have a inside or an outside cutting edge, so it's just going to leave that really ornate pattern cut into your card. Then if you want an aperture, this is just a plain circle die. So you can cut an aperture outside of this, or on the inside of this, and make a shaker card if you want. That would be really lovely. And then look at all of these additional layering dies that we have. So this is another plain circle die, and that's if you want to combine, you can combine these three to give you sort of a ring with your clock face in one color, for example, if you wanted. This, I'll set these here. This next die, this looks like it just cuts that pattern. So there's no outside or inside cutting edge on this one. It'll just sort of either deboss or cut these little slits just as a decorative pattern as an option. And then you get some more plain circle dies. Look at that. This is really phenomenal. If you don't have a nested circle die set, you almost have one in this set, because look at how many circle dies you get. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So pretty fantastic. And then this is another decorative die that cuts a pattern into your card, but does not have an outside or inside cutting edge. So it's just going to leave that pattern cut in. And just to give you an idea, because this is pretty nice size. So not including the tabs, if I go from side to side, that's about 4 inches wide and roughly 4 3/4 of an inch tall. Those are really lovely size. And just in terms of the circles, this is about 2 3/4 is the largest, and the smallest circle is about 1 1/4. So pretty nice, I think. Really a lot of metal for your money in this set, and so many, like I said, just basic shape dies are really fantastic to have and easy to use. So, but for this project, imagine all of the different sort of mats and layers you can add to your alarm clock. Now, you have to sort of envision, it's kind of the old school alarm clock where you see like the bells go. So these two pieces would be that little detail up at the top there. And then this little piece would be sort of, that's like a little bit of a glue tab. So you would put that there and then layer this on top. And that would be sort of the connection between these little alarm bells and the base of the clock, or the face of the clock. This is the base of the clock, this little stand here. And imagine if you didn't want to make a clock out of this, you could maybe, it would just be a different shape, but you could maybe turn this into sort of a snow globe too. I think that might be kind of a fun idea as well. So, because, you know, this, when I see this shape, I kind of always think that's sort of reminiscent of the stand for a snow globe. And then we get 3 hands for our clock. So you can use all 3 or just 2 if you want. They are different, similar in design, but different in a little bit, and different in length as well. So there's all 3 of them side by side. So you have those 2. And you could, if you wanted, because there is a hole on the end here. And if you wanted something a little fun and interactive, you could actually put a brad through the hole that's in the clock hands. And this decorative panel here also has a hole in the center. So you could put a brad through your clock hands and this decorative panel to attach your hands to your clock, but still have them be able to actually spin. And so that might be a fun little interaction as well. And then we do also get some sentiment plates. Now these will cut sentiments into your card. So the idea is that you would be using sort of that negative space, but of course the letters that fall out, you could definitely use those as positives. And then because they're just letters and it's all the same size, and it's all in all caps as well, you could mix and match the letters to spell out more words than what you see here in the sentiments. So we have good times ahead, it's your time, and rise and shine. And so really, really lovely die set. And as I showed, this is just the mechanism piece for the 2 sides if you were to create that 3D box style of card. So that is the APG die of the month. And then I also have the large die of the month. So that is, look at this. So it's another slimline die set, which is awesome. I think we had earlier this year a slimline die set that I absolutely love. And so this is, let's pull it out. I think this is gonna be, I'm gonna see if this is smaller than your full panel. Yeah, it's slightly smaller. So this is 8 1/8. So normally my slimline cards are 8.5 by 3.5. So this is 8 1/8 by 3 1/8. So it's the same ratio as what I would normally use as a slimline, but this will give you a matte layer that is a little bit smaller than your full panel. And in fact, let me show you. Yes, I actually happen to have a slimline card base here. So just so that you can see how much of a border you're gonna get. So that basically the inside of the metal is your cut line. So it's a nice generous border. Then we have the next largest die, which is beautiful. Look at all of that beautiful detail. The outside does not have a cutting edge, so this will cut into your card. And these don't have there's no cutting edge here either. So that's going to be this open area, these 3 open areas here, that's going to be cardstock. Whatever you cut this into, you'll see that color there. And how I can tell is that if you follow the cutting edge, if there's gaps, like there's a gap right here, then you know that it's going to stay attached. So that's the easy way to tell whether something has a full, aperture that's going to get cut out, or a full outside cutting edge that cuts out or not, is whether there's gaps in that outside cutting line. So you're going to have really lovely detailing, and there's this pierced dot detailing all the way on the outside edge and the inside aperture for all 3 of these areas here. And that's a lovely detail as well. And this looks like a really easy one to do some paper piecing if you want to do some die cut inlaying, because these pieces look like they're pretty large. And so and it looks fairly, I don't know for certain, but it looks fairly identical. So the piece that fits here, you could probably rotate and fit there. And similarly in these 2 sections as well. So I think that would be a fairly easy one to do some die cut inlaying. Then to fill in these panels here, which is, I guess, is a little bit of a octagon shape, but you have this lovely die that will cut out this, I guess it's a floral pattern, but it's going to be kind of lacy, because this will cut out completely, but you're going to get all these open areas will fall out. So you're going to get a very fine, die cut. And so that would really look lovely as an option for these 3 areas here. But you also have this option, which has a straight outside cutting edge and then these pierce holes for some stitching. So if you want to do a little bit of stitching, you can stitch into that. So that's an option. And then we also have this option as well for even more stitching. If you wanted to do a lot of stitching, you could do that. Or, because these are kind of vary in terms of where the holes are, you don't have to do any stitching, and you can just layer these 2 on top of each other and see how that looks as a different effect. So you get 3 different die plates for layering into these 3 areas. So you can mix and match all 3. You can use one and repeat. Option is yours. Then there are some leaves, which you can use by themselves or layer on top of one another. So that's going to layer perfectly if you want 2 different colors to come through there. And then we have a sentiment. We have happy birthday. And this is different from these here. So this looks like it will deboss the words happy birthday. I haven't run it through my die cutting machine, so I don't know that for a fact, but it does look like it debosses happy birthday instead of cuts into your cardstock the letters. And this has an outside cutting edge, so this will cut out your a sentiment plate. So really, really lovely slimline die set, and you don't even have to use these as part of a slimline design. They're really nice and large. I feel like you could use a couple of these, maybe make sort of an abstract background from them too. Just cut it multiple times and then tile it. So I think that could be a fun idea as well. Then I also have the Glimmer of the Month. And this is going to look kind of familiar because we have a lot of the same florals from the small die of the month and the clear stamp and die of the month. So you kind of have that same, and this gives you an idea for how to assemble this flower. So you've got the flower and then these additional 2 pieces, so you can kind of see there how that would fit together. And same sort of style of flower, large and small. Here's the really cool thing though about this. Well, there's 2 things. One, I think this is the style of glimmer plate that when you die cut it, because this is the coordinating die, I think when you die cut it, it's going to have foil all the way to the edge, and you're not going to have a border of your cardstock showing through. I don't know that for certain, but it feels like these border outline, they're a little bit thicker than sort of the inside details. And so when I see that, I tend to wonder whether it's that style of glimmer plate where you get foil all the way to the edge. But what's really cool, and maybe they've done it before and I just haven't ever noticed, but these are actually individual elements, but they're all on a single foil plate. And these are individual die cuts, but all on one die plate. So think how convenient, how fast and easy it will be to just foil in one go and have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements and a sentiment, and then die cut in one go and get all of those elements and your sentiment banner cut out it in just one pass through your machine. So I'm really loving this concept. I don't know if they've done it before in other glimmer plates, but I love this for the convenience factor, both of the foiling, because they've really, if you look, they've really lined this up so that it's a very efficient kind of use of your foil too. That way, you're ultimately going to use less foil, because instead of each of these being an individual plate, that then you have to kind of give adequate kind of allowance of your cut foil around it. They've positioned these so that they're all kind of nestled in with each other, so that it's sort of the most compact that you can position these, and like I said, get the most efficient use out of your foil. Because I would never be able to put multiple foil glimmer plates on a piece of foil that close. I would always just worry about things shifting and overlapping and potentially ruining the plates. So really, really awesome for all of those reasons. Like, very efficient use of the foil, efficient time, everything heats up, one pass, boom, you've got your multiple elements, efficient die cutting. So really, really looking forward to playing with this one as well. So that is the Glimmer of the month. So these are the club kits that I'll be crafting with this month. So I'll link to that video and any other videos where I feature these. Will also be in my Spellbinders playlist. So you can always check that playlist for not just club kit creations, but anytime I craft with Spellbinders products, I'll add them to my Spellbinders playlist. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.